So what you're about to hear is a really great conversation with a locksmith who's new to it, getting into it, and diving in boldly where few others have gone before, going from what I think is to be pretty basic locksmithing all the way up to Corbin Russwin. And when you deal with Corbin Russwin, you're dealing with 150 years of history of keying systems and lots of things, incredibly diverse universe to dive into. So the client called asking a couple of questions, which you'll hear about the PK-70N pin kit. The client actually ordered that from us. Yeah, I'm grateful that we were able to monetize. Helping someone is really great, but it also helps to monetize to keep the lights turned on. So what we'll do is we'll switch to the screen view and we'll take a closer look at what the client ordered and then some of the other resources that I mentioned to the client on the phone.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
At PK-70N single system pen kit on your website here. It's for the N Class keyways. I'm not sure if I've got a System 70 or a pre-System 70. It's an N Class locks. Do you know if that would service both systems?
Do you you said it was a PK-70N?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know the difference between System 70 and non or pre-System 70?
Kind of. I'm looking at
You ever key any Schlag locks?
What's that?
You ever key any Schlag locks?
Yes.
Okay. You ever key any quickset locks?
Yes.
You know how Schlag's got cuts 0 through 9? And Quickset's got cuts 0 through 6, although there is a 7th cut in Quickset. Schlag is a two-step system. And Quickset is a single-step system. In the world of Corbin Russwin, one is pre-System 70 and the other isn't. So if you can use a number 1 master pin in your system, then you know you have a single-step system. And so anyway, that's the difference between System 70 and pre-System 70. Have you ever looked at the Corbin Russwin cylinder manual?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, the single greatest document of all time in locksmithing, although Medico's got some good stuff too. So N Class can be done in both pre-System 70 and System 70. So believe it or not, in the year 1970 is when they went from a two-step system to a single-step system. But you can do N Class in either. So the question was, will your pin kit do both? And the answer is yes, it will.
Okay. Now, do I need this? I'm a rookie. I dabbled a little bit in Schlag and now I'm in a different role at a different business and kind of jumping into this Corbin system. And so is this the only pin set I could use? And how would I get, if I run out of pins, where would I get more? If I run out of number.
Yeah, so the answer to the former is Lab makes really good pin kits. And I use Lab, their 003 kit, their Emerald Wedge. But I also have a PK-70. And it's because when I'm doing Corbin or Sargent, I really, really like the original kit. The thing about Lab, though, is Lab makes pins for these guys. So it's really, really the same pin. Now, to the latter, I mean, we sell pin kits and we sell pins and springs and caps and all the other goodness that you need.
Okay.
And I'm not an expert when it comes. I'm an Aloha CTL, but it's a lifetime journey in locksmithing. We're all
yes,
rookies.
it is.
We're all rookies.
Yes, I appreciate hearing that. Okay, so we need to set ourselves up. We're a small tech college, and we've got Corbin throughout the units, and so we need to get set up so we can do our own locksmithing. Is this set? That's the best way to go, isn't it?
If it was me, I would be using original Corbin, is what I would personally do, because I don't have time for goofing around. It needs to work perfectly. The criteria that I teach people that I've taught how to key locks is it's got to work so well. Imagine the guy has come home and he's blitzed out of his mind. If the drunkard cannot get the door open, he'll kick it in. So you've got to never make sure that happens. The key's got to be perfect. And if it's not, you replace parts until it is. And I just find that using OEM equipment on OEM stuff, if you're a college, you don't have garbage locks. So, whether you spend whatever, imaginary numbers, $500 on a Corbin pin kit or $300 on a lab, stick with that stuff, because in the long run, you're better off.
Okay.
You're learning part numbers. You're more familiar with the system. That's my opinion.
I appreciate that. So I'll go ahead and get this. I don't have the PO. I don't have that authority, but I'll get somebody who does. We'll get this set going.
We take POs from colleges, just so you know, net 30 kind of thing.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll pass that on to.
Yeah, Corbin's got 10 different pin kits for sure, because you're dealing with a company that's been in business since, I don't know how close to the Civil War, but Grant was still alive, and G.F. Corbin was definitely making locks. So they've got that long history. And if you're going to dive into Corbin, absolutely make sure that you can find that cylinder manual and read a page or two a day, because I wrote an article on Corbin's master ring. It's technology from like 1890, and it's fascinating. And I've gone through that cylinder manual forensically, and I'll even tread more where I should probably stop talking. You should absolutely join Aloha, or at least go to Aloha classes, or at least the convention annually where there are classes, because you're going to get in contact with the most famous people no one has ever heard of. You want tech support, you're going to be best friends with some of these people that can be like, oh, no, this is how you do it. And if you're going to dive in like this, it's not like you're diving into Kwikset. Who cares? You're diving into one of the oldest keying platforms that exist, at least in North America.
Huh. So you said join the, I don't even know what.
Aloha, Locksmiths, the Associated Locksmiths of America, ALOA.org. You don't need to join. It's just if you joined Aloha, ALOA.org. If you went to they have an annual convention. I don't know when it is, probably in the summer. I think this year it's in Vegas. Who knows? But there are so many good classes there that you'll pound for pound. There's no way to learn more quickly. And I was writing a different article. No, the same article on Corbin Mastering, and I was in a class there, and I asked the teacher, a living God when it comes to locksmithing. I asked him if he would help me, and he says, well, you don't want me to help you. He points at some guy in the back of the room, and he's like, you want that guy to help you. Long story short, at lunch break, I asked this gentleman who was still sitting there, and he gladly gave me 20 minutes of his life. Helped me verify my conclusions, because I didn't want to put my foot in my mouth before I sent this thing to publication. 2 months later, I'm getting ready to take the Medico exam. And long story short, I'm looking at the patent for Medico 3, and this guy's business card falls out of the book. Well, yeah, it was Peter Fields, one of the two guys' names on the Medico 3 patent.
So that's what you find when you join the locksmith community, the most famous people no one has ever heard of, and people that are just willing to help. I remember very clearly in 1991 when I needed help keying small format, and I called Falcon, and the guy says, let me make sure you got this right now. He stopped what he was doing, and he taught me how to do it. Crazy. Just crazy. So anyway.
That's cool. Good community.
Cool. Yeah, phenomenal community. Phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, this sounds awesome. Can you recommend any other parts and pieces I need to set up my system?
Well, I don't know what else you're going to get in that pin kit. I mean, you know the obvious things. You're going to need a plug follower. And then the other things, you may be a tweezer guy and you may not be a tweezer guy. But that PK70N probably includes a plug follower, I would think, although it's not.
It does.
Yeah, okay. So other than that, nothing, because I'm assuming it's conventional core. You might need key blanks would be the only other thing, and obviously a way to cut keys. So because you're dipping your toe in pre-System 70 and System 70, you need a key machine. You need some way to originate keys. And I'll tell you this, if you're taking over a key system in a college, you should absolutely get involved in a LOA, because if you're going to be generating biddings, you are absolutely taking responsibility when it comes to unintentional cross keying, incidental keys that you don't intend to work places. So you'll really want to learn as much as you can about the science of locksmithing, because if the key for the men's bathroom on the first floor goes into the women's on the third floor, and someone goes in there, you watch the news. So you got to get as educated as possible, because you're really, really, polishing a loaded shotgun when it comes to generating biddings or cuts for the keys.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point. This is so much good information. I appreciate you spending this time.
Absolutely. My email's on the website. If you want a link to something else, let me know. I'd be happy to contribute. Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much. And this is linktech@absupply.net.
That comes to me. My name is Richard.
Thank you so much, Richard. I appreciate your time. I will get the people with the pocketbook to get this thing going.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it. Okay, here's what the client ordered. And over the years, I've just simply forgotten what's included and et cetera, et cetera. So this is a pin kit 70 N Class keyways. Okay, so single system pin kit, interchangeable core and master ring cylinders, as well as conventional, can be done. Handsomely finished hardwood case with combinating instructions on the inside lid. Key gauge, tweezers, and both diameter plug followers. Corbin Russwin does have more than one diameter, effective plug diameter on their plugs. Pinning all types using System 70 depths. Now what's interesting about that is I told the client it was for System 70 and pre-System 70, and apparently that was incorrect. And I'll show you where that came from in terms of what I thought. Let's look at the product catalog page. Using System 70. Okay, so I was incorrect. Yeah, so I think the client needed the PK 1070, a more complete kit. It's my guess that they're running System 70 because those cylinders would have to be more than 50 years old to be single system. So I'm going to reach out to the client, correct my prior statement to make sure that he's okay with that, and then go from there. Now, this catalog cut is really important because it clearly says using System 70 depths 1 through 6. And I may have said 0 through 6 or 1 through 6, I forget. I know that I've got the deluxe pin kit also for end users with pre-System 70. Now I'm getting sick. Okay, so what's nice about the PK 1070, even though it's far more expensive, it has a lot of information that's included. However, you really don't need to spend the extra money if you're never going to do pre-System 70, because I mentioned to the client the cylinder manual. Click the manufacturer's page here, and then when this page loads, we'll be able to take a look at the Corbin Russwin cylinder manual. And the cylinder manual is a document that's probably 25 years old in its publication. I don't know if it's been updated, but it does give you the history of these key systems. Okay, N series, N class. If you deal with Corbin Russwin, you should read this. You should not try to read it all in one sitting, but read a couple of pages a day. N class can be done in non-System 70 or pre-System 70 and System 70 depths. And as you continue to get through, you'll see a definition of exactly what these systems are. And if we continue to scroll through, we'll sooner or later get to the depth and spacing data for this material. Let's actually see if we can look at the broachings for the N class. Talks about the different plug diameters, the history of how that evolved. Okay, 59 series, 57, 22, 67, 77, D and H, N series obverse, N series reverse, A series. So clearly the client has a system that's out of date. Probably not. You can order parts for N series to service them, but probably you're not going to get N plugs on locks unless you're supporting an existing system. It must be quite a hassle for Corbin Russwin to maintain inactive key systems. Being able to mill or broach, or mill and broach key blanks and plugs. So this document is incredibly handy. Now, where I got that information from, where I concluded that it was for both systems, I now believe I misunderstood that. Click on the price list, and we're going to fire that up, PK-70- there we go. And where I came up with that was all cylinders. What that really means is master ring and interchangeable core and conventional core is what that means. But System 70 only. At the end of the day, other than the PK-1070, and I'm not confident that you could use that on N class because it's not listed there, but this would be the only N class. So what that may mean is N class may have only have been developed in System 70 or single depth systems, is what I've got to believe is referred to there. Now if we go back up into the catalog, we can see System 70. The long and short of System 70 is that there are a total of 6 cuts, 6 depths. Because you've got 6 available depths, you're going to have a much larger system than you would have in a 10 depth system because of the increment. In a 10 depth system, that increment is going to be close to half of that dimension. And what that means is you can't pin, say, a 2 and a 3, 2 master and a 3 change key with a number 1 master pin, because in pre-System 70 it doesn't exist. So that's what all of that means. What I just said is worthy of deep study, and if you deal in Corbin Russwin, you have to know. But if you have cuts, well, let's just look at it this way. If you have any cuts in your system that are never one number apart, it would always be a 4 and a 2 or a 4 and a 6, never a 4 and a 3 or a 4 and a 5, then you've got pre-System 70. That increment, 0.014, is too thin to have a number 1 master pin. So in pre-System 70, there is no such thing as a number 1 master pin. Whereas in System 70, there would be number 1 master pins because the threshold for increment is 0.023. It's been established that 0.23 is the safe zone to not go below when you are in System 70. Just ask Best and their A3 system that had an increment smaller. I think it was 0.018, and those were known to fail. Incredibly valuable document. And I also mentioned to the client, my good friends over at Aloha, I'm not espousing becoming a member, paying dues, but I am absolutely espousing participating in education. The Aloha Convention is always going to be chock full of educational opportunities. Several dozen classes are always available. And as you heard me relate to the client earlier, you're going to meet some of the most famous people that no one has ever heard of Peter Field, Inventions, Patents and Patent Applications. He is prolific. Let's just search this patent. Yep. Peter H. Field. So here is a patent, and this is, I mean, imagine my shock when I realized that the person who had been so gracious with my time, his name, when I was getting ready for that exam, I looked up and saw his name there. Medico. Peter Field, the guy I was with, his card says Medico. So just really phenomenal. Fascinating stuff. Absolutely fascinating. So the Corbin Russwin product catalog is here. There are several and many historical documents that I have here, really old catalogs. The 1895 catalog is an old favorite of mine. We can take a look at that. P&F Corbin, 1895. Still loading it. It's an incredibly large file, both in megabytes, 740 pages. But if you want to see what was being made 130 years ago, here it is. Mentioned Master Ring, and I don't know if it's in this catalog at all. It's somewhere, I just don't recall. And Master Ring is basically actually the catalog may be too old. Let's look at the 1905. That's probably got Master Ring in it. Okay, the 1905 is loaded. Let's take a look if we can search Master Ring. And we've done a lot of work on making this OCR compliant, so you can actually search this. Yeah, Master Ring. Beautiful, beautiful. This patent was about 1890, and Corbin bought the patent. And this is what Master Ring is. It's got two shear lines. It's got a ring outside of the plug. Extremely fascinating. A exceptional deep dive into the world of locksmithing should you ever want to dip your toe into that. And from our website, you can go to, if you wanted to see more about Master Ring, company profile, about us. Then when this page loads, you can do a find function for Control F for Master Ring, and find that article here. And here it is. Look at me. A real deep dive into Master Ring. Oh, there's that page we were looking at. Yeah, really awesome. Okay, I will update this video if the client needs additional assistance, and we will clarify that it's System 70 only. I'm sure that's okay if he has N Class. And thank you very much for watching. Thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.